a homecoming of sorts for Long Island poet Walt Whitman. This 8-foot-tall bronze statue was unveiled recently at the Walt Whitman birthplace in Huntington. The statue was a donation to the historic site from Sokagaki International, an American Buddhist association. Its president and founder Daisaku Ikeda is also a Buddhist leader who was greatly inspired by Whitman himself. Ikeda was unable to make it to the ceremony himself, but sent an important message with Yoshitaka Oba.
Daisaku Ikeda loved the poetry of Walt Whitman from very early on in his life. Mr. Ikeda was an avid reader in his youth. He read works by various poets as well as authors. But I must say, from listening to his recollection of his youth, that he really, truly loved Whitman. And that's why later on in his life, in his speeches and his writings, he would often quote Walt Whitman in speaking with youth, with students. And so it was back in 1989 in June, 29 years ago, that Daisaku Ikeda was able to fulfill and actualize a lifelong wish of coming into physical contact with the great poet. And this happened when Mr. Ikeda visited this Walt Whitman birthplace. I am personally so deeply impressed and so happy to represent the SGI president in this donation today, and also very moved with this opportunity to see the actual birthplace of the great poet.
Walt Whitman Birthplace Association Executive Director Cynthia Shore says this is a welcome addition to the historic site.
Well, it's a very exciting day for us to have the statue arrive here. We thank Sokagaki International for reaching out to us, and it's very exciting. And I believe that, as I said in my earlier address, that it will become iconic. People were here already in the 3 days it's been here, taking pictures. The butterflies are flying around, which were very symbolic. He's holding a butterfly, and there's much Buddhist symbolism about the butterfly. And I think it's come home to a wonderful spot.
John Giannotti is the sculptor who actually built the statue. He says the design is full of symbolism based on a historic photograph.
The idea came from the 1883 photograph of that butterfly with Whitman at the photographer's studio in Market Street in Philadelphia. The butterfly itself, so fragile, and Whitman's poetry, to me, is a combination of power and sensitivity, and those two are intermingled. And I think he's one of the unique poets in the world that can express a thought so delicately and yet have so much power behind it. The idea of him walking through the streets of Camden on the way to Philadelphia to meet some of his friends and having a butterfly alight on his finger is something that just was very important to me. And this symbol that is so light and delicate and yet preserved in bronze is also another dichotomy that I was trying to get after. But also there's a conversation between Whitman himself and the butterfly that he's looking at. It's almost as if the butterfly is acting as a muse for Whitman's words.
For more information on how you can see the statue, check out their website at waltwhitman.org. In Huntington, Chris Killar reporting.